What if I told you you could build an AI agent that researches anything you want, remembers everything it finds, and actually gets smarter the more you use it? No coding, no AI degree, just you following along with me for the next 15 minutes. Hey everyone, my name's Jordan, and welcome to the first episode of this series where we're building AI agents from scratch. Today, we're building Scout, a research assistant that can search the web, analyze information, and gives you answers formatted exactly how you want them. And to do this, we're using Relevance AI, which is a no-code agent building platform that makes this stupid simple. So today we're going to be covering what AI agents are, how to write a killer prompt, how to use tools, how to run your agent, and how to use variables to make your agent flexible. Now, that's a lot, but I promise it's simpler than it sounds. Before we jump in, it's important to understand what we're actually building here. AI agents are different from regular chatbots. A chatbot just responds to what you say. An agent can actually do things. Agents are powered by large language models, but they're given tools and instructions so they can take actions. Think of it like this. The LLM is the brain. It can think and reason. Tools are the hands. They let the agent search Google, send emails, update databases, whatever you need. The prompt is the job description. It tells the agent who it is and what it's supposed to do. Put these three things together, and you've got an AI agent that works autonomously. That's what we're building today. So let's get into it. All right, so first step, go to relevanceai.com and create a free account. Once you're in, you'll be presented with this dashboard. On the left side here, you've got agents, tools, workforce, knowledge, and an option for more, which we'll get into down the track. So let's go ahead and actually create Scout now. In the top right corner, there's a button to create a new agent. Let's go ahead and click that. You'll be presented with a couple of options. One of them is the Invent option, which is an AI assistant which helps you build your AI agent through natural language interaction. Otherwise, you can choose a starting point. Because we want to understand the foundations of agent building, let's go ahead and choose a default starting point and let's build this from scratch. Welcome to the Agent Builder. This is where all the magic happens. To give you a quick tour, you've got three main tabs up the top here. You've got the Build tab, Run tab, and Evals tab. For this episode, we're going to be primarily focusing on the Build and Run tab. On the left side here, you've got a sidebar with all the important stuff. You've got your prompt, your tools, knowledge, and triggers, which we'll get into these two later, as well as all these other ones. The main ones to note are the prompt and the tools tabs on the left here. Sounds simple enough? Great. Let's get into building Scout. The first thing that we're going to do before we dig into the prompt is give Scout an identity. We can actually give Scout a name here. So let's go name Scout. Scout the research assistant. Perfect. We can also give Scout a description. So let's just say a research assistant. Keep it nice and simple for the moment. We can also give Scout an image. So we have a bunch of avatars here that you can choose from, but you can also upload your own image if you would like. I'm going to choose this one. This is Scout. Perfect. You can also choose the model that you want to use. So you can choose from performance, cost optimized models, and you can also choose from a large range of other models. To keep it simple, I'm going to stick with the performance optimized model, but feel free to dig around here and play around with how other models impact your agent. Great. So now getting into the prompt. The prompt is everything. A vague prompt gives you a vague agent. A clear, detailed prompt gives you a useful agent. Now, there are some core things that every prompt needs, but you can also add additional sections to make your agent better. Let me show you what I mean. At a minimum, your prompt needs identity to cover who the agent is, purpose to cover what it does, and instructions to cover how to do it. But you can also add things like personality, guidelines, and tool references to improve the function of your agent. You don't need all of these, but they can help. Let me show you. Let's write Scout's prompt together. First things first, let's write out Scout's identity. If we click /, it opens an action menu where you can reference tools, add quick prompts, and even format your prompt. So let's add a heading 1 for identity. Let's type in identity. Now let's type out Scout's identity. We're going to keep it nice and simple for this. You are Scout, a professional research assistant. Great. And we'll click enter to start a new line. Let's go ahead now and add the purpose. So let's click / again, go to heading 1 and add purpose. And let's do the same. We'll keep it simple, but we'll outline the purpose of Scout. I'm just going to write, your job is to help users research topics by finding information, analyzing it, and presenting it clearly. Great. So now the last section is the instructions. We'll do the same thing. Click / heading, write instructions. And then let's write out the instructions for Scout. I'm going to use a numbered list here because it keeps the agent focused. So let's write this out. I'm just going to say how you work. Now let's do a numbered list and let's write out the steps that Scout should take. So number 1 is when a user asks you to research something, clarify what they need. If the request is unclear, 2, use your available tools to search for relevant information. 3 is analyze and organize what you find. 4 is present the information in a clear, easy to understand format. And 5 is offer to dig deeper or explore related topics if helpful. Great. So this is just outlining how we want Scout to work. Feel free to add or remove points or adjust points, and you will see Scout reflect your changes in real time. So now Scout knows who it is, what it's supposed to do, and how it's supposed to do it. There is now a step-by-step process here, and it prevents the agent from rambling or getting off track. Now, you can also go a step further and add personality. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll go to a new line, click /, and then bring up the heading again. We'll type in personality. We'll click /, just do a bulleted list this time, and we'll outline what we want Scout's personality to be. So professional, but approachable. That sounds good. Maybe thorough and detail-oriented. And maybe clear and concise as well. So let's type in clear and concise in your explanations. Perfect. Now let's do one more thing, which is add some guidelines. These can be non-negotiables for your agent to make sure that it is always doing exactly what you want. So let's go ahead to a new line here, click /, add a heading, you know the drill. Let's add a section for important rules. And let's do another bulleted list. I'll click bulleted list here. Always cite your sources when possible. This is of course important because it's a research agent. If you're not sure about something, say so clearly. We don't want our agent to be making stuff up if the whole point of the agent is to provide credible research. Another one is to ask clarifying questions. If the user's request is vague. Another one is to stay focused on research. On research, right? We don't want it to do things outside of its capability. Awesome. Now, This is a solid foundation. We've got an identity, purpose, instructions, personality, and we've also got rules for the agent. The cool part is that this structure works for any agent. All you have to do is change the details. Now, Scout can think and reason, but it can't do anything yet. So let's give it tools. Tools are what make agents actually useful. Without tools, Scout is just a smart chatbot. With tools, it becomes a real assistant. Relevance AI has hundreds of pre-built tools. For Scout, we need web search. So in the sidebar, let's click Tools, click Add Tool, and let's find the Google Search tool. There's the option to search for tools in the top left, but we can see the Perform Google Search tool right here. So let's select it and let's click Add Tool. Perfect. Now Scout has access to Google Search. But here's the key. We actually need to tell Scout about this tool in the prompt. Otherwise, it won't know it exists. So back in the prompt, let's add a section called Available Tools. I'm going to add this on top of the instruction section, but it doesn't really matter. So let's add Available Tools here. In the Available Tools, let's add a bulleted list and reference the tool by clicking /, going to the tool references, and finding the Perform Google Search tool. If we click on this, it will add a tool reference. We can then put a little dash and say, use this to research. Just outlining how Scout should use this tool. Now, let's go ahead and save Scout. Go to the Run tab, and now we can send Scout a message. So let's say, tell me about the history of AI. Forgot a word there. History of AI. Perfect. Now we'll send this to Scout. Okay, cool. Now Scout has actually given us a very solid response. But now let's ask something that needs current information. So let's say, what are the latest advancements in AI in 2025? Let's see what Scout says. Look at that. Now you can see that Scout is actually using the Perform Google Search tool. Scout has provided a response using Google to inform its research. If we click this section up here to expand it, you can actually go into the Perform Google Search tool and see how Scout has used it. You can see that it's entered a search query and gotten a list of answers. That is the power of tools. Your agent can access real-time information and take real actions. Now, let's make Scout more flexible with variables. Right now, Scout formats information however it wants. But what if you want bullet points or a detailed report or just a quick summary? That's where variables come in. Variables are like settings for your agent. Users can customize how the agent behaves without changing the prompt. Let's add a couple. On the left sidebar, go to the Variables tab. Now, I want to make a variable for the output format, and I want this to be a drop-down that the user can select. So let's go to the More section here, click the Options, and let's give our variable a name and a variable reference. So for this, it's going to be output format. The description will be the format of the output. And then we will actually change this variable reference here. I'll show you why this is important in a moment, but for now, let's just change this to output format. Great. So now you can select an option, but it says yes and no. So for the options input type, click the settings up here, and let's change these drop-down options. So for the first one, let's make it summary. Second one, we'll make it bullet points. And we'll add a new item for a detailed report. Great. So now if we click on this drop-down, you'll see our new options. Let's click summary. Now let's add one more for the research depth. We're going to do an options variable again. And let's do research depth. The depth of the research you want. Great. We'll change this to research depth. And then you'll see again, it says yes and no. So let's go to the settings. Let's pick quick, standard, and deep dive. Perfect. Let's click standard for the moment. Great. So now we have variables. Now we need to go reference this back in the prompt and tell our agent what to actually do with these variables. So let's do user preferences. We'll create a heading, user, and then we will add the output format and the research depth. So let's add a bulleted list, write output format, add a new bullet point, add research depth, and just say, adjust your responses based on these preferences. Perfect. Now, this is actually empty, and we want Scout to adapt its output depending on how these are set. So let's go ahead here and reference the variable in our prompt. To reference a variable in our prompt, we don't use the slash menu. Instead, we type 2 curly braces as follows. This brings up a list of inputs or variables that you can reference in your prompt. So this will dynamically update based on what has been entered in the variables page. So let's reference both of our variables here, output format and research depth, and you'll see them here. Great. So now let's test it. For the output format, let's make it bullet points and let's make the depth to quick. Let's save the agent, go to the Run tab, and let's ask Scout a question like, what is quantum computing? Let's see what Scout says. Great, so Scout has now given us a quick response with bullet points. Now, what if instead we wanted a detailed report? Let's go to Build, let's change the output format to a detailed report, and let's do standard research depth. We'll click Save on Scout, go to Run, and we'll actually ask Scout the exact same question. So let's copy this, click New Task in the top left, and then paste that question in. Let's see what changes. Great. So now you can see that Scout has actually gone into a bit more detail and listed some key concepts, an overview, examples, sources, etc. And it's even offering if we'd like to dive deeper. This is so cool. And that's it. You've just built your first AI agent. Scout is fully functional. It can search the web and adapt to your preferences. You can use it right now. In the next episode, we're going to be adding knowledge and triggers to Scout. And eventually we'll build a multi-agent system where Scout works with other agents as a team. But for now, you've got a working agent. So here's your homework. Go ahead and customize Scout. Change the personality, try different tools, experiment with variables. The best way to learn how to build AI agents is to mess around with the platform. If you have questions or get stuck, drop a comment. I will be reading all of them. And if this was helpful, hit that like button and subscribe because we've got more episodes coming. All right, that's episode 1. See you guys soon.